Open doors where I am now. Where I am now. I'm in a special place. Until you come to where I am. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page or Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page. And guess what? You can see us live right here in WGPL 1350 studio. And if you want to hear us all over the globe, all you have to do is go to 1350 AM or 1400 AM. And guess what? You can click and listen live and hear us all over the globe. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It's really a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors, our WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM and WPCE 1400 AM.
Facebook Live is on and popping, but let's welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and who else?
Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and all
the other platforms. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I want to say good morning to Sheila Davis, already on and popping on Facebook Live. But make sure you all say hello so we will shout you out. Mr. E, what day is it today?
Today is Hump Day! Yeah!
Mr. E, that was a great hump day. I tell you what, you all should be up and popping. It's the middle of the week.
That's right.
Yes.
And the sun is shining.
In Hampton Roads, it's off the chain. I'm telling you, it's about 60-something degrees here today. And we're thankful to God for some wonderful weather this winter. I want to say good morning to Lori Page. Lori Page, where have you been? Haven't seen Lori in a long time. We're so glad to see you. But Mr. E, this is our Wednesday segment. Issues concerning men. What's under the hat?
That's right. What's under the hat? Issues concerning men, and we have such a special guest today.
Our great guest today is Bishop Ernest Sutton. I'm so glad he's on. When you said he was going to come on, I felt really happy, glad to hear from him because he is a great guest. When he comes on with all kind of information.
That's right.
Good morning, Bishop Ernest Sutton.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with sunshiny faces. Oh, this is a way to start a new day.
Yes. You know what? You sound like you up, ready, and popping, ready for the new year. How is your new year so far?
Listen, I am giving thanks for this new year. I believe that this year is going to be a stellar year. I believe God's people are going to see an explosion of God's blessing shower from them. So I am happy.
Happy. I tell you what, Bishop, if you would tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You hail from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct.
Tell them about your ministry.
Well, Lady Hinton, I am so excited, more so than I was even 10 years ago, about what God is doing, because our ministry proper now has been turned over into the hands of my son.
Wow.
Pastor Abel Sutton. My job now is to mentor and support my son, and it releases Lady Sutton and I to travel the world.
Oh my goodness.
And spread the gospel of Jesus the Christ. I was talking to Pastor earlier, and we talked about what our church mission was. And I want to just share it with you all this morning and to our radio audience. Our world is in a really challenging time. Our ministry and the mission is to communicate to the world the life-changing power of Jesus the Christ. We're in Elizabeth City, over on Bell Street. Our church was founded by our late Bishop F. L. Griffin in 1967. I had the exclusive opportunity to be her understudy in the gospel. She was, Lady Hinton, you remind me of her. She was an awesome woman who just believed in promoting the gospel of Jesus raw. She didn't put any yeast in it. She just gave it to us raw. And I'm so grateful for that, because it has sustained me over years. We have several different ministries. My wife has a women's ministry inside the church. My son's wife, Minister Danielle, has a teaching ministry inside of the church. And we teach young people to, she teaches, she's a journalist by profession, and she teaches young people, called a young author, so she teaches young people how to write. And she just has an exclusive talent of being able to communicate and write. And we have several other ministries. We have a feeding ministry that we have. So we're just a little church in the middle of Elizabeth, just trying to be good for people.
You know, I am very excited about that, because we wanted to cover this topic of the church, its mission, its vision, and the Great Commission. You know, during the pandemic, a lot of things happened, and I wanted you to kind of talk about ministry during the pandemic and what happened exactly, you know, the transition. I do notice that there are a lot of ministries passing the baton, the mantle, to the younger generation or their mentors. Tell us about this transition, and do you think the pandemic brought it on?
Lady Hinton and Pastor, when we entered into the pandemic, I believe that God was positioning us to become closer to Him.
Yes.
It appears that in times of prosperity, everybody acts like, that things are all going well, that we forget about where we come from. Sometimes we put Jesus on the back burner.
Yes.
But I would say to you that I think the pandemic had its purpose, because Jesus said, all things are working together for good to them that call it purpose. I think we had one of our greatest comebacks in church during the pandemic, as horrendous as it was. But sometimes God puts on your earth, let me think about this. Sometimes Jesus brings us to our knees so that we'll look up to Him.
Yes.
And realize that all of our help yet still comes from the Lord. So in this pandemic, we were able to, in church at home, we did live streams. I will share with you all at some point some snippets of the live stream that Pastor Abel and I did, Pastor Everette. And I look back at one of those, a couple of those live streams, and we live stream all over the world, and I saw the hand of God even more so than I had seen it while we were doing that ministry. So I think the pandemic was a wake-up call to us. But it seems like when the pandemic uh, began to subside, we began to look other places.
Mhm.
But God is still out there.
Yes. Oh, that is definitely wonderful to hear. One of our questions was, Pastors, where art thou? Where are you? Have they come back? Some of them came back slowly. Some of them are back. There's a ministry that I'm associated with my mentoring program, and they are back, but some of them are still in the parking lot. Some of them are outside of the sanctuary. The members are coming back, but they are coming back in a different kind of way. Our people are still afraid out there. Our members, how are you all handling members when they do have some fears about what has happened? And how do you bring the church back to getting going with the commission and of reaching out to souls when they're so scared to get back in the church?
Fear is the enemy to man, and fear is not of God. Let me just look at a couple of things that we've done. For a time, we were outside the church and we tried to use all of the mechanisms to keep people safe. We were clearly aware that we needed to keep people safe in the church. We are back real time in the church now. We've been that way probably for about 8-9 months now, recognizing that there's some that still have that fear. And God told us to be harmless, wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So we try to be wise in recognizing that everyone is not at the same place in coming back to church properly. And here's what we've done, and here's what I know. For the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty.
Yes.
And our people are beginning to become more liberated and less fearful. So we're about 99% back in terms of people coming to the house of God. But I go back, Lady Hinton and Pastor Everette, and say that all things are working together for good for them that are called.
Wow, yes.
And I believe that the pandemic was necessary because nothing happens unless God allows it. It is necessary. But I believe also that this fear must be removed, but we must be prudent. Solomon said, "In all thy getting, get understanding." And we're in the process of trying to let the people of God know and have understanding that God is still in charge.
Yeah. I want to say good morning, and good morning again to you, my good friend. As we begin to dialogue this morning about the mission statements and about folks fulfilling to come back to church. Now, what age bracket have you noticed that still has not made their way back to the house of God?
Well, let me give to you from my perspective. We have some seniors in our church that have still not fully come back. Young people have a different kind of resilience.
Yes.
The young people, if you will, are back.
Yeah.
And they're not suffering the kind of fearfulness that many of our seniors and I would say young adults have in terms of coming back.
Yes.
We are creatures of habit.
Yes.
And what we've always done is the things that we always do, and we become comfortable with that. And categorically speaking, I certainly understand that. But I believe that our work in terms of bringing people back physically is proper.
Mhm.
But I'm more concerned, Lady Hinton and Pastor, about bringing people back spiritually.
Okay,
All
good.
right.
Good.
Amen.
That's one of the greatest things that you could say, to bring them back spiritually, and and not just physically bringing them back and having the body. Just have the people into the pews. Now, do you think for 1 second uh, that folks are not going after the great commissions, and are they afraid to go door to door? Are they afraid to even dialogue, since the world is in a turmoil, since crime is on every corner? Do you think folks are afraid to even dialogue with folk?
Pastor, that's a loaded question, but I'm gonna try to take a swing at it. Uh, God again is not a God of confusion, and it appears that every venue we look at in our society now, in Congress and local government and churches and schools, things appear yet to be upside down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But I will tell you that God is the same God today
Yes.
Mm.
that He was yesterday, and even before He created man.
Yes.
So I yet yield to the fact that all things are still working together for good.
That's
Mm.
good.
Mm.
We just have to stay on the battlefield, and we just have to be as resilient plus as the enemy is resilient about us being overcome by fear
Yes.
and all the other enemies that would be out here to undermine what God is doing.
Absolutely. I'm glad. Like I said, I am so glad to hear, that that is still the church's
That's right.
position, with
That's
so
right.
many things going on, and us, having to be away physically from church. But let's talk about church and technology, because I've also heard that churches are now making sure they're using technology to pull in an audience. A lot of them said during the pandemic they raised more money, they had more attendance, and they had, just a better platform through technology. Are you all going to address in your ministry, your son, where people are now and using technology to reach the masses?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it.
Great.
Well, let me just start here. We're in Augusta, Georgia, on our way to Birmingham, Alabama, to the American Gospel Quartet Convention to meet with our good friend, Dr. George Stewart, who is the founder of that organization over 30 years. Before technology was so prominent, we wouldn't be on as we are now, live streaming across the world.
Mhm.
My son and I had a brief conversation with Pastor Everette a few days ago, and Pastor Everette, my son and I have talked a couple of times since then, and we thank you so much
Thank you, sir.
for offering us the opportunity to use your powerful radio station that live streams all over the world to bring this gospel to those that need to hear a word from the Lord.
Yes.
So I would say to you this: God understood technology before He ever revealed it to us.
Amen.
He told us to go to the hedges and highways and compel men and women
Say it, preacher.
to come to Him. So this is just a beginning of what I believe God's going to do in terms of getting this world throughout the length and breadth of this nation. So again, ladies, Hinton and Pastor Everette, You don't know how grateful we are for you inviting us to share what God has made a reality with your radio station.
Now, I want to let you know something, Bishop, is that here, when you started something because I was ready to run around the building just a few minutes ago when you said something that the Lord told you to go to the hedges and highways and compel men. Now, I thought you was going to finish it up and tell our listening audience he didn't tell you how to do it, but he made it possible that by any means necessary to do it.
Pastor, he reminded me and stirred me of a song and a praise.
Uh-huh.
God will make a way somehow.
Somehow.
Yes.
You'll make a way somehow.
Some way.
He didn't tell us how, but he said he'd make a way somehow.
Somehow.
Yes. You know, Bishop Sutton, you've been on and we've talked about the things that you have accomplished in your life, social issues and problems that we have still in this world. How do we kind of combine addressing what people are going through, what they need on a daily basis with the gospel?
Brother Hinton, Jesus, one of the things that God has blessed me to be able to do is I'm a staunch proponent of leadership. Jesus is the greatest leader that ever lived. And all of those leadership skills are within the confines of the Word of God. The Apocrypha, all of those are in the Word of God. I go all over the world doing leadership because I believe that leadership is a principal thing, and John Maxwell captures it as well as any other theologian that I know in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. We have many people in the church world that are in leadership positions. But I'm saddened to say that many of folks in leadership positions do not know what leadership looks like.
Wow.
Do not know what leadership act like. Do not know what leadership smell like. They're just in the position. And I believe one of our challenges as a faith community is to teach our people spiritual leadership. Because here's what John Maxwell said, and I'm quoting from one of his books. He said, everything rises or falls on leadership. And that's a truism.
Absolutely. Talking about, yes.
Be diligent about focusing on teaching our parishioners, communities, and others leadership.
Yes.
Because this is a part of the compelling men. Jesus never sent disciples out unless he trained them.
Yes.
Too many of our faith leaders now go out but not train.
Talk, preacher.
Therefore, our discipleship is diminished because of that.
Yes. Yes, Bishop, let me ask you a question. Training, and I want to use another word that I want you to kind of like speak to us about. Trusting the next generation. You said you handed, you're giving your son the opportunity. What makes you trust? He must be trained. But what makes, how can we trust the next generation? Because a lot of ministries are handing the mantle over to the next generation. How can we trust them? Can we trust them?
We can only trust them, in my judgment, Lady Hinton, when they have proven themselves worthy of being trusted.
Mm-hmm.
God never sends out his disciples unless he can trust them. I trust my son because he has proven himself. I'm not a willy-nilly, if you will, person that would just send someone out just because they have a talent.
Yes.
They must have a heart for God, and my son has a heart for God. I'm not saying that because he's my son. If I said it and it was not true, it would hurt him and the ministry and me. But my son has proven himself. I can go to Birmingham, Alabama today knowing most assuredly that I can trust my son with what God has allowed me to hand to him.
Yes. Amen.
And that's one of the wonderful things there is, because I met your son, and I can concur and I can say the same thing. He's a humble young man, and he loves the Lord with all his heart and all his soul. Bishop, you're doing a wonderful job. Tell our listening audience, where are you heading to in Birmingham?
I'm going to Birmingham to the American Gospel Quartet convention. Dr. Stewart, and you will meet him. You and Lady Hinton will meet him at some point. In fact, you may even meet him before the weekend is out.
Okay.
Dr. Stewart he's a mentor, he's a preacher, he's a teacher, he's a playwright. In fact, my son, and you'll hear more about this at a later time too, he's writing a play right now. My son Michael, who lives in Birmingham, Alabama, is one of the star performers in that play. And we're going there because all of the gospel legends will be there. Dr. Stewart has mentioned people like, mentioned people like Lee Williams, Jaquela Carr. In fact, Jaquela is in London now, but she's going to live stream in. She was going to be there, but she's going to live stream in, and so many other gospel legends that Dr. Stewart was single-handedly responsible for their careers. There's just going to be so many artists there.
Very good.
That he's mentored. So we're on our way there.
Very
Amen.
good. Look, Bishop. Go ahead.
Dr. Stewart is one that is able to mentor as well.
Okay.
Yes. I tell you what, before you give your contact information, tell us what was birthed for you during the pandemic. Anything special, anything exciting? What did God birth in your life during this time?
Let me tell you what God did. Easy question. My son Joel is a videographer and a photographer. And what he did was, when we were having those meetings at home during the pandemic, he videos, and it's on YouTube and Facebook, he videoed several messages that Pastor Abel did, and I did, my wife did, my daughter-in-law did. It was just a menagerie of things that he videoed, that he captured. And I was able to go back and listen to one of those few days ago. And sometimes when you're talking, you don't hear yourself. Mm-hmm. But I went back and I listened to several of those messages. And those messages were prophetic. Wow. Pastor, in terms of what we're talking about today, the information. I will send them to you.
Okay, sounds wonderful.
Wow. That is absolutely marvelous. We want to say thank you so much for being on. You can give your contact number, and then we got to go. But God bless you, you and your family, and we're very excited about what's going on in your world.
God bless you, and thank you again so much. You are just a prolific individual, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to know you. My contact number is Ernest. ERSutton203@yahoo.com. That's my email. I'll put it again. ERSutton203@yahoo.com. You can contact me by phone at 252-333-6472. I am on Facebook. You can Google Ernest R. Sutton and you'll be on Facebook. And I want to give you Pastor Abel's number. 252-384-8053.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. You all come over here for a little bit. Join us on social media and be blessed. We'll see you back here on Friday. Where I am now, better than before.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. If you'd like to be a special guest and intern, all you have to do is pick up the telephone and give us a call at 757-714-7861. Or you can inbox us at Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, FYI Facebook page, or email us at FYIRadiosHowLive@gmail.com. Don't forget to join us on Fun Friday and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Good morning, everybody. Sheila Davis, LaWanda Tillett got your message. Sheila Robbins, been missing you. Thank you for joining us. Roberta Carter, love you, girl. Katrina Brown is up here. She said, that's it. Bring them back spiritually. Mark Howard, you are a blessing too. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. You got anybody on your feed?
Mr. Renda Williams Sonlin is up here with us.
Hi.
And Miss Sheila Davis, Miss Sheila Robinson, Diane Carter, and Mark Howard is up here. Just before we go a little further, I think that Mr. Mark Howard should repent. I think Mr. Mark Howard. I think Mark Howard should bow down. I really think that he should bow down to the Star.
Well, I tell you what, the Star has been doing its thing. The Star won its game against the Buccaneers. And we got to talk about that on Fun Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
It is so exciting. But anyway, it's good to see you all. Thank you so much for your support. But I was so glad that Bishop Sutton was on with us. You know, our series, What's Under the Hat.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about where the church is.
That's
We're going to talk about its vision going ahead and the commission. You know, Miss Lee, it seems as though things are starting to get back little by little with the church. And, you know, I'm glad to hear that. I wanted to hear him talk about, you know, going to all the world. I wanted him to hear that God is still the same God yesterday, today, and forever. I wanted to hear that people are revived and ready because we don't want to see what is the light, which is the church, diminished by any means. And we don't want to sit back and not, you know, be able to share the gospel of Christ and the love of God with many that need it. There's so much going on, so many people suffering, so many things are happening. We have to make sure people see the hope of this world, that they can connect with God, and you know, no matter what happens to the earth or the things that go on, they're connected, and their hope lies with someone that's stronger than themselves.
You know, Miss Hinton, a long time ago, people got away from having prayer in church. They got away from even talking about God. But after the pandemic, folks have been pulling on God like never before. You know, because if it had not been for the Lord that was on our side, 1 million didn't make it. But, you know, there was some who did. You know, when they caught the virus, there was a lot of them that had problems. Now, you know, they're slowly coming back to church, and incidents are happening all over the world. And you hear folks saying, pray. The football player that had a heart attack, you know, and that brought something to the world.
Yeah.
At just that instant, if the ball hit you the wrong way, you can have a heart attack.
Amazing.
And just that instant, the ball hit him in the chest, but hit him, but it at the beat of his heart, that's when he had the attack. It's amazing, but guess what? The
What?
Lord is good, and he brought him back around. And now folks are seeing that God is still working miracles today.
Yes.
God is still opening up blinded man's eyes, and folks are saying, we got to get back, because America said all over the world,
Yes.
pray. Pray,
Absolutely.
pray.
Absolutely.
A lady said the other day in the school shooting, you got me praying again.
Ooh.
That when that little boy had the gun,
Absolutely.
the lady screamed out real loud in a town hall meeting, I'm praying again.
Oh,
I got to pray
wow.
again. And that's what I think the world need to go back to, giving God. Don't forget who God is in our lives.
You know, that is really good to know. And I'm also excited that the fact that the Great Commission can have a vehicle.
That's right.
And that
that's
is
right.
technology to go
Yeah.
out, go around the world. Can you imagine us trying to, you know, get on donkeys and mules and, you know, horse and buggy to try to reach the world?
Yeah.
When now, just like this platform, we're worldwide.
That's
We're
right.
all over the world. Anybody can connect with us here on FYI Radio Show. And so can you imagine the gospel? You know, anybody can access from any country, you know, any tongue, any creed. It's like, this is powerful. So talking about outside of the walls, we don't have to say that anymore.
That's right.
Oh, we got to go outside. Well, we're outside of the walls.
That's right.
Plenty of ministries are on social media, on those worldwide platforms. You are outside of the walls. And I like what he said. He said, you know, connecting physically is one thing, but spiritually is the key. That's where they want to make sure people are being reached with the gospel, being taught, being trained, and they may not be in the seat right there with you, but they're somewhere either looking on or hearing, because you can hear, just like this platform, you can hear the gospel. You can go to the physical church, but there are so many ways and means of bringing it forth.
And that's one of the wonderful things that we got in our presence, the platforms.
Yes.
You know, that he was in Birmingham, Alabama, and we're here in Virginia. He just left Virginia on yesterday, on his way to Birmingham, Alabama. He said something that was so profound, and you said it also. It may not be the physical man sitting in the physical seats, but now the Lord is touching the spiritual man.
Yes.
And the Bible says we must worship God in spirit and in truth.
Absolutely.
Now, we just, maybe it's not a shaking, a baking, a form, and me touching your hand. It's now my spiritual man is now being connected with God's spiritual man.
And that's where it is. You know, our relationship is intimate. It's between you and the Lord now. You can go to church all you want to and still not have a connection. But I really believe that the pandemic brought on people connecting to God in a certain way, praying a little bit more. And maybe they wasn't conscious at all, you know, so conscious about, you know, oh, I'm just down here on my knees. But, you know, I can imagine as things begin to unfold and there were more people dying and so many things, tragedies and good things too happening. I believe people just connected to that, having that relationship and that fellowship. It began to get real, you know, between, like I said, you and God in the room, you know, and look, 3 years we couldn't get in church.
We couldn't get nowhere. We had to build a foundation. We had to build our spiritual man up, because one, we couldn't get in the building, and because we couldn't get in the building, folk were scared to even come out the door and would not go in the building because of what folks were saying all over the world.
Under the bed shaking.
So now folks had to really, and I thank God for it, that now folks had to really connect with their higher power. They had to really connect their spiritual man with God, because they couldn't shake. Nobody could look at you down the aisleway and see you shaking and say you got it. It ain't a physical thing now. It's now your spiritual man has a locked horns with God.
Absolutely. Do you want want him? Do you want God? It's going to be between you and God, because there's going to be times when you cannot be in of the physical church. Look at us for 3 years outside of the walls.
That's right.
And still having to survive, and still having hope, still having to connect where you could survive, and encourage others. It was a time of needing encouragement and encouraging others to keep holding on when there were millions of people dying around us being in a situation that we've never been in before, not knowing how it was going to turn out, or if it was our time to go. We had to really connect. And so just like Bishop said, you had to really, really, really get yourself in a place where you could understand the commission, continue with the vision of God, that none would perish, and that you had to hold on yourself to God's unchanging hand.
Hey, Miss Hinton,
you had to.
You saying a whole lot there, because there's a lot of folks now had to try when they begin to look at the FAITH at faith. Now their faith had to come alive. It wasn't because I can go and shout in front of you. I can quote the few scriptures. Now the life that we was talking about had to come into realization. Yes. It had to come to real time. That talk that you were talking in front of folk, you had to now walk the walk, because your spiritual man has now been challenged by what you know and how you carry oneself.
Next week we're going to talk with Bishop's son,
That's
Kevin.
Right. That's
Sutton.
Right. Abel.
Abel, did you say?
It's Abel.
Abel?
Mm-hmm.
It's not Kevin?
It's Abel.
Okay, it's Abel. Okay, Abel is going to be with us on next week. And we're going to talk to him. He said he passed the mantle.
That's right.
Don't you know a lot of pastors are doing that?
That's right.
A lot of them, Bishop T.D. Jakes passed the mantle to his daughter for Women Thou Art Loose. There are other pastors that are saying, look, Courtney McBath have trained and developed their children to say, it's time for us to do what God has shown us and trained us to do. Miles Monroe, when he passed away, his children took over the ministry. They're on YouTube talking about the testimony of God, training and grooming them. And that was one of the messages that Miles Monroe had as he, had a foretaste, and he understood that his time was short.
Ms. Hinton, when we started looking at the training, we can preach until we're 90 and 100 years old. And now, and all our youngins and folks that we have trained, they're just sitting there. And sometimes you get to a place where you got to allow a different breed, a different generation, a different, it's in like the working world. Some of these places, these businesses are saying, wait a minute, we got to have new innovative, the world is changing, and we got to have new ideas, and someone that's able to comprehend and take us to the next level in ministry as well as our business.
Absolutely. So Abel Sutton will be on.
Yeah.
Also on Friday,
Bishop Abel Sutton. Yeah.
This Friday we have Coach Rhonda Driver. She'll be on with us for our ladies. We have Tony Veer, the love doctor.
Yeah.
He's gonna be on. And also, we're covering the commission and things like that, and the vision, but we'll also cover things about love. Now abide of faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. We're going to talk about get back to love, honey. Physically, spiritually, relationship-wise in the month of February. And we'll also be celebrating Black History Month.
And not only that, Ms. Hinton, in the month of February, we're going to talk a little bit about the gift givers, about giving gift to that time of year when, is it only just for gift to give to the man and to the woman, or do the man need to get that gift too? So hold it right there, Mark Howard. Don't you say nothing, Miss Katrina Brown and Miss Sheila Robinson. We'll wait till February to dialogue about that.
Oh, we'll talk about it. Absolutely. Also, Young Women Achieving Success Program tonight at 6:00 p.m. You all can join us at 1760. 5 at New Galilee Baptist Church, South Military Highway. Come on out, join our young ladies. The program is just up and popping and starting. And so we are excited about that. Also, you can continue to follow us on social media. And thank you so much for you all buying the book. Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose. Our hard copy, our ebook, our go to ACX Audible. You can get it on Audible as well. Thank you all so much for supporting me. And Miss Lee's going to tell you how you can be a special guest sponsor, an intern with FYI Radio Show.
If you'd like to be a special guest or sponsor or intern on FYI Radio Show, all you have to do is give us a call at 757-714-7861. That's 757-714-7861. Or you can email us or inbox us at Edward Everett's Facebook page or Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page or FYI Facebook page, or you can go to FYI Radio Show Live at gmail.com.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. We want to say again to Bishop Ernest Sutton, thank you so much for being our special guest. You all be blessed. Gotta go, but thank you so much. Miss Lee said keep talking. But anyway, again, Young Women Achieving Success Program, girls 10 to 17 years old. Please, if you will suggest and recommend young ladies to the program, we have room enough for more young ladies to be a part of this program. It's sponsored by Crystal Community Development Corporation, and we would love for you all to be there. Look, there are some great things coming. We got a game system that is coming. We got a curriculum that's coming that's been developed for our anti-bullying program. Please watch out for that. All you gamers, let people know, because I'm going to be choosing a few people to play that game. We're going to make sure everything is fine-tuned and ready for the public. And for the schools and for the libraries and things like that. So excited about all the things, talking about things birthed during the pandemic. The games were books. I got more books coming. Got some music coming. The Royal Ladies Pie. Oh my God. So you all, please, the Royal Ladies Pie is officially, of course, cooking out of a commercial kitchen. You all can get your pies and things like that. Missy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, look, we gotta go, and you all be blessed.
Don't forget to join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on WPCE 1400, WGPL 1350, Peace 95.3, and soon to be 88.9 WMVA Joy FM. Listen, for information, call us 757-714-7861. All right, Miss Hinton, I'm ready to go.
You all are a blessing. Thank you for your support. We'll see you back here on Fun Friday.
2 up, 2 down.